Mike Grier has pulled off a generational heist as reports are circulating that Jake Walman has been sent to the Edmonton Oilers, with the earliest reports saying that a first-round draft pick is what's coming back to the San Jose Sharks. We have to dive into what Mike Grier is doing right now and the implications this has on the Sharks going forward this season, as there's now going to be a bit of roster constraints, but also how this was a masterful job of asset management. A bunch of stuff we have to dive into on this episode of Sharks Digest, and we're going to dive straight into it. We're not hesitating. We're going to first take a look at the tweets right now, as Dave Pagnotta was the first person to tweet it out. Sharks and Oilers have been working on a trade involving Jake Walman. We'll see if it gets over the finish line, with Elliot Friedman following up saying, this one's moving along. The pride of Armor Heights to Edmonton. So this trade seems like it's going to happen. However, as of the recording of this video, it has not been made official, simply because from Edmonton's side, they have a game in 15 minutes as of the recording of this against the Montreal Canadiens, and because of some roster constraints, stuff like that, this deal couldn't be finalized again as the recording of this. It might be done by the time you're looking at it, but all we're reporting on right now is the reported return, and according to Pagnotta, Walman's indeed heading to Edmonton. It's just a matter of when this gets completed. The return's not yet confirmed, but chatter of a first-round pick is going to San Jose, and there's been some other outlets also corroborating that it's likely a first-round pick. Friedman hasn't officially said it because, again, the trade is not officially done, but this, to me, is unbelievable. Unbelievable asset management. So, first of all, my first gut instinct is that there's probably going to be a third party retaining somewhere, because while Jake Walman is very, very good, playing amazing this year, 23 minutes a game, 32 points in 50 games, as honestly the Sharks' number one defenseman a lot of the time, like, his contract for this year and next, like, over $3 million, it's like, I don't know if that was worth a first round pick. Maybe it would be, but if there's some retention coming from someone else, hey, that could very well be the case. But like, the thing is too, Walman's unbelievable. This is Jay Fresh's card, 83 percentile in projected WAR. Of course, his offense is his big thing. 97th percentile in the power play, 98th percentile in goals, 92nd in finishing, 84th in even strength offense. You tell me how this fits in Edmonton, because honestly, I got no earthly idea. This is not the type of defenseman I thought Edmonton would be going for at this deadline. I thought they'd be looking for someone more defensive, but we're not here to talk about the Edmonton Oilers. We're here to talk about the San Jose Sharks, as Mike Grier just continues to absolutely wheel and deal right now. Constant trades, Nico Sturm, Vanacek, like, there's so much stuff going down right now, and Walman is just the latest to add to the list. But the asset management as a whole in this is honestly the biggest part of it. And I want to show you guys this. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? No, there it is. I had so many pictures. We'll get to all that other stuff in a minute. This is the trade that sent Jake Walman to San Jose. A lot of us remember it. But San Jose received Jake Walman, a second-round pick, which is the 53rd overall pick in 2024, for future considerations. The Sharks gave up essentially nothing, and they got Walman and a second-round pick to take him off of Detroit. What did Walman do? As we just saw, he turned around. I mean, I don't even know if I want to say turned around. He was really good for Detroit. We're still a bit baffled as to what happened, as to why Detroit sent him out for that amount of money, or for that compensation as well. But hey, it is what it is. But he comes to San Jose, he puts up a great season, and Mike Grier flips him for a first. They took a second just to take Jake Walman. He played amazing for San Jose. Now he's getting flipped for a first. I don't think you get any better asset management than that. Like, this reminds me of the Sean Monahan trade that we saw a couple of years ago, where Calgary sent Monahan along with a first-round pick to Montreal because Monahan was seen as kind of washed. He was done. He rejuvenated his career in Montreal. Then Montreal kept him, and then they shipped him off to Winnipeg for a first right back. Montreal got a couple of firsts out of that. This is very similar in this situation here, though again, I'm still not really sure what caused Detroit to send Walman along with a second-round pick. Not to mention, that second-round pick was Leo Salin Wallenius. He was picked at 53rd overall, and this year has been a bit interesting. He's played in the Liga in Finland and in the SHL Sweden and in the junior SHL, and he's had pretty solid numbers across the board, especially production-wise, like 5 goals across 29 games across 3 different leagues. Well, I mean, the SHL and the SHL Junior, like, they're same league, different leagues, whatever. It's like junior of the same league, but still, 5 goals across 29 games as an 18-year-old defenseman with 2 goals in 21 games at like the pro level is nothing to shake a stick at. Now look, I'm not going to just go out here and claim I know everything about Mr. Wallenius, because I'm going to be honest, I don't. I haven't looked a lot into Wallenius right now, but at the very least, it was a pick that, like, it's just extra, right? you get this, plus you get what is looking to be, again, not officially confirmed as of the recording of this video, another first-round pick for Walman is unbelievable. Now, this does have some implication on the Sharks right now because who is going to play for this team? Like, they play a game tonight, I believe, again, as the recording of this video. And so it's like, we don't know who's going to get held in the lineup. We've heard talks about Ferraro. We've heard lots of talks about Luke Kunin. And now if Walman's gone and he's not able to play tonight, we're not even sure if he's going to be able to. Maybe he does, and this is crazy. Anyway, you'll know probably by the time you're watching this video. But the Sharks need players, like especially on defense. Defense is one of the weaker positions right now in terms of immediately available players. So that's one concern. But there's also another little thing I wanted to bring up. Walman's in year 2 out of 3 of this $3.4 million cap hit, and the Sharks got no retention spots. We know that. That's why I was mentioning earlier a third party might retain. And if someone does, they'd only have to retain on what's left, which is next year's $3.4 million plus the $606,000 that would be owed for the rest of this season going forward. So, like, that's one thing right now that, the Sharks are, they're shipping out a good amount of money. Well, what are the implications of that? The Sharks have $40 million in cap space to spend this offseason, and they need to spend $20 million just to hit the cap floor. You have to hit the cap floor in the NHL. That's necessary. A lot of teams, what they'll do is they'll sometimes take on bad contracts with picks alongside them just to go up and hit that cap floor. We see that all across the league all the time. I think we've seen it before with Arizona. We've seen it with Anaheim. There's no reason the Sharks can't do something similar. But again, this is another move they'll have to make. But right now, like, this roster is full of young people, and other than that, it's kind of barren, right? You trade out Granlund, you trade out Ceci, you trade out Walman. We're hearing that Kunin might be gone. We're hearing that Ferraro, who's another $3+ million player, could be gone. We trade out a goalie, like Nico Sturm's. It's just everyone is leaving this team, and a lot of the big money is leaving this team. So moving forward right now, the Sharks are going to need to put that money somewhere, which is why I'm also thinking there's going to be more moves coming, whether at this deadline or this off season. Like, I'm thinking at this deadline just to add some usable bodies, because we want to also see the Barracuda. We don't want to deplete their roster just to call people up to fill in games here and there. We'll probably see a lot of that. But they're having a decent season. Like, they want to make a push the rest of the way. You don't want to go and tear apart their roster just because the NHL club is scrounging for bits right now to try and fill in. It wouldn't shock me if Grier somehow stayed active at this deadline to add some bodies, and even some guys who are on maybe bigger cap hits, guys that they can, take some picks alongside a bad contract to, one, help them hit the cap floor this offseason, and two, just to get more draft capital moving forward. The Sharks do have a good amount of draft picks. They're just going to get some more. And right now, hey, while it is a seller's market, taking on bad contracts from teams who are looking to add other players, that could be very lucrative for San Jose. There's a lot of brilliant stuff going on. Look, I know some people think we just do nothing but praise Mike Grier. You know what? It's going to continue. I think this has been an amazing job. Generational heist for Jake Walman. I am unbelievably happy with this. Again, if it becomes official, which just sure seems like it will, but let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on this deal. I'd love to hear from you. That'll do it for this episode of Sharks Digest. We're going to have a lot more coming up to the deadline. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and hey, subscribe to the channel, guys. Brand new channel. We just passed 1,000 subs. If you can hit that button, it's completely free. You want to stay up to date, this is your place. I've been your host, Josh Gosse, and we'll catch you in the next one.